that's enough.
It's never enough.
That's enough.
Didn't you see the movie?
Oh my god.
Welcome to Theme and Variation. This is. Do you mind?
Oh my god.
This is. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna compose myself. This is a podcast about movies. The two genres of episodes that we have are theme episodes, where we have a movie and we discuss the themes of said movie. However, I would like to welcome you to the very first variation episode.
Michael just snorted a bunch of flour. You
Welcome to Theme and Variation.
can speak louder.
Welcome to Theme and Variation.
Okay, that's fine.
Having a hard time speaking.
Why?
Because I snorted a lot of flour.
Yeah,
Need
you
someone
did.
to help wake you back up?
I do actually.
This
Give
would be-
me the smelling salts.
Here's the smelling
We
salts.
just went through this.
We gotta wake them up before
guys.
they wake you up.
I need more.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna
You know what they say? There's a smiley face right there.
take a hit of this first.
You're gonna do it first.
That's what they say.
You're such a gentleman.
Write it out. Write it out. Oh,
Pass it
Wow.
quickly before it loses its voluptuousness.
oh,
Dude, I can smell that.
oh my gosh! That was the hardest one I've ever done.
Oh my god, Michael.
Are you good?
Oh, Michael.
All right.
Oh,
God.
And we're back.
oh,
Are you feeling better?
dude. Yeah, you got a lot of it. I could smell
Are you
it.
feeling better?
Oh, man.
Okay, welcome back to Theme and Variation. We had to cut again because of the smelling salts incident, and that's because that's all anyone could talk about for about 5 minutes straight.
Not to.
I thought we were trying to talk about other stuff, but
I honestly
we
don't
tried.
remember.
Okay, anyway,
Always circle
before we go
back
back
to,
onto the reason we're
smelling
have to restart
Now that
this.
you mentioned smelling salts, I would like to talk about that for a bit.
no, okay, Christian, focus.
All right, what kind of podcast is this, Christian?
Oh, sorry. This podcast is about movies. What's up?
You're
Am I
not
peeking?
talking into the mic.
Oh, the opposite of peeking.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
This is a
talking.
podcast about movies in which we have two genres of episode. The first one is the theme episodes, where we have a movie, we lay out the themes and kind of just like go through it and how those themes relate to other things. But this is our first variation episode.
Very first of a
Very
couple
first.
things. Very first guest episode. Very first variation
The
episode.
very first reveal.
So
of
literally is a-
Stonk's Mike.
Oh yeah, we're all excited to see that.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm here.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so on the variation episodes, Jesus, smelling salts, man.
Okay, no.
Sorry. On the variation episodes, we just have a movie and we kind of have a discussion about it with kind of a vague idea of where we want it to go. But the movie is The Wolf of Wall Street.
And what is the variation
The
concept?
variation concept is how I think this movie is very misinterpreted to be like, wow, this is the coolest guy
It is just
I've ever seen.
It is just a movie, but there are guys out there who are like, it's the lifestyle of Wall
It's
Street.
what they
The
aspire to be.
lifestyle.
Yeah. Something to be chased after.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, that's a good point. I think a lot of people, especially in the early college business world,
Yes.
really.
My world.
Yeah, your world.
Welcome to my world.
Even after, right? Like,
Well, I'm sure after,
especially
too.
college graduates, like 22
Yeah.
after, you know, they get their finance degree and then they go to New York or something.
It's like, what
But
do they
York,
value?
baby.
Money. What else do they value? Pussy.
And power, yeah.
Yeah, those are the 3 P's.
The 3P.
Money is with an M.
Money.
It's a silent
It's
P.
silent.
It's a silent P. It's like pneumatic.
Yeah, it's the exact same word.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I've definitely met quite a few of these people already in my endeavors at business school.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
shameful.
Yeah, actually, right outside of it, we do have like the so they have like we have like a symbol of the stock market and like statues outside of our business school
like
already.
the bull. Or?
Yeah, it's the bull and the bear, and they're fighting
Oh, yep.
because that's how the stock market works.
So it's like bullish is good.
Bull
outlook.
good, it means the market's going up.
The bearish
Business
is in
is
a bad outlook.
booming,
Yeah.
and then bears never good
Business
news.
is bearing.
Yeah,
Business is
Bearing
baby.
down on you.
that is what they say.
I'm just
That's
gonna
how
cut
it
in
is.
here. The entire right side of my face
No.
is in tremendous pain.
You did this to yourself.
it feels like it's swelling out of my body.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like I have a bulge right in my brain.
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Good. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No,
feeling
yeah.
that.
Well, we are the only ones that did smelling salts.
Me
a
and you,
minute ago.
man.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Michael's nose has taken a lot of abuse this episode.
I think I might
In the
wake
last
up without
6
a sense of
hours.
smell. Honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on. So yeah, I've just met quite a few of these people. I've had many Robinhood account graphs shoved in my face.
Where they made $15 in a week.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
huge deal
Yeah.
because they're making huge.
Dude, they're in
deals.
the green.
They're in the green. I've never seen a red graph once. They're much less wanting to show you those graphs.
The day
I've
trading.
only seen green graphs in day trading.
Yep, day trading. Yeah, Robin Hood's opened up a lot of interest. It's actually a really interesting movie to watch now with everything that happened in 2020
After
with like GameStop.
was that
and-
2021?
I thought it was
Oh, was that this year?
That was this year, yeah.
That was this year.
Yeah.
Jeez, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
does the
man.
time not go?
Where's the time go? But I mean, there's been like a renewed interest in the public's eye for like trading stocks, given these platforms that give you accessibility. But this movie focuses on the people that you would contact to actually buy or sell stock back in 1980 something.
a broker, if you will.
Right, like me.
Stocks
Like
Mike.
Stocks Mike.
Luckily, we have a broker right
Stocks
here
Mike.
with us today.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about, folks.
You know what you're stalking about?
Oh yeah.
Can you give me a good deal?
I can give you the best fucking deal of your fucking life, you fuckhead.
All right.
That's a okay.
Stonks Mike.
I like to say fuck.
Just like they do on Wall Street.
That's how the
That was a
big boys
tremendous-
play on Wall
If
If
Street.
it's one thing I've learned
Serious
from this
though.
movie, they like to say fuck.
They also, they like to say a lot of other things too.
Yep, a lot of things.
Mostly about stocks.
Well,
Okay.
so the main character of this is what, Jordan Belfort.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna get that last name
That's
right.
the name. I said Belmont before, and I won't say it
think we all
again.
said Belmont
I probably
before.
will.
I haven't.
So Belfort, Jordan Belfort, a real man, as
Yes.
Michael had put it earlier. He's a real man who
Wrote a
an
real book.
autobiography, a real book called
Turned into a
Wolf
real
of Wall
movie.
Street. Yep,
Same
exactly.
name.
Played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Directed by Martin Scorsese.
Because it's in New York. They start with that, and then they hire him as the director. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this movie's gonna be in New York."
Yep. Yep. He's New York shots.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of this goes into do you think the messaging of this movie is good or bad?
I don't know what the message of this movie
No,
is.
like the
what's that?
messaging.
No,
Is it glorifying this lifestyle or not?
I'd
It's-
say it's
it's difficult.
pretty. It's hard to tell.
It's like I don't even know if it is necessarily doing either of
Well,
those things. It kind of just
I think
I
it's-
think you have to understand the source material first, right? Because it's an
Yeah.
autobiography
Well,
by Jordan Belfort.
What I was going to say is I don't know if the messaging is necessarily irresponsible. It could be in some degree because it really does glamorize that type of thing.
but
But,
it's
it, is,
doing
it
it-
is very much through Jordan Belfort's eyes.
It's through his eyes. In my opinion, I think it's neutral. It's an autobiography about this guy's life. It just says it how it is, and the events are real. At least like most of them in the movie. Some might be embellished or cut back or something, but very much so the like plot is a real plot. I think it's neutral, and I think that our culture and based on how we're raised will determine if it's a negative, if it's glorifying, because it depends on what you're focusing on, right? It like
yeah, definitely.
because there's both. They're at the same, like throughout the entire movie. To me, if I would have watched this movie like a year ago, I think I would have seen it in a different light than I did when I watched it last night, because I was paying attention to different things.
Yeah.
Christian,
makes sense.
The first time you watched this movie, you were 14.
Yes, I saw it when it
Very
came out,
impressionable.
and I thought it was sick.
You thought it was cool, so like
As
you
all
probably-
14-year-olds do. we know.
Yeah, you were focused on
and then he
like
turned 15.
the money. Yeah, then he turned 15.
and then I turned 15.
Well, you were focused on the money, the girls.
Yeah,
The power.
I would like to say now more. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say
You know
the
what you're gonna
drugs.
The drugs,
That's
yeah.
not what I was expecting you to say.
I thought your
Oh, you
mouth
thought I
was
was
geared
saying
up.
the pussy.
No, but yeah, I would like to say that out of any of us now, my net worth is actually the closest to Jordan Belfort's current net
This
worth.
is true.
Negative 100 million. Something
Negative
like
100
that.
million
Yeah.
and some
110
pennies.
million, I think, or is it just 110?
Negative
Doesn't matter.
110.
It's like
It's-
the same.
that's
It was
a-
he had to pay 110 in fines, but I think that he might have had some of that money and so he paid some of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who
Point
knows?
is-
Who knows?
So yeah, no,
He's
I
bankrupt.
I would agree. I feel like the movie's really neutral.
I think
it's
okay.
just
I
a
think it's
portrayal.
just if you think of it
Yeah,
of the
just like
frame
money is.
of it's been being
That's a good
told
point.
by
Money's not
a-
good or evil. I think that the movie wasn't really good or evil in my opinion. That's how
movie
I
is
saw
money.
Well,
it. Money.
yeah. I don't think. I don't know.
I think in the same way that money brings out who you are in a person, this movie will bring out who you are as a person based on your reaction to it.
Yeah, that's a really good
Yeah,
point.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like all the people that identify with this movie are the same ones that identify with ones of like, dude, Rick from Rick and Morty. God, that guy's so sick.
Dude, Walter White.
Yeah, Walter.
Walter White.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just I think it is, what is the word, like
It's a fantasy.
litmus test of like how you
Exactly.
kind of are, if you are attracted to kind of like this
Yeah, and
this chaos and
Going off of kind of what Jarret says, I think we see that kind of in the movie too, where money brings out your potential. Like you're not necessarily good or bad, but you have potential to do both.
kind of like a gun.
It all comes back to the
Okay,
Iron Giant.
Everything.
mean,
Iron
it's
Giant's
true.
like
All
Yeah,
roads
like,
lead to
the
the
life-
Iron Giant.
the life
Well,
lesson.
that's-
Dad actually thought this podcast we were on our 4th episode of talking about the Iron Giant. he's like how much can you guys say? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're doing the Iron Giant.
That's what we'll do for the Inception episode. Is we'll
Do
go into
another
the,
Iron Giant.
The 4th episode of the Iron Giant.
What are you
Anyway.
guys still talking about?
It's a very intricate movie.
yeah.
John.
So, anyways, no, it's pretty neutral.
I love John Gerster, by the way. He's a good man.
we
all-
get-
if
so
you're
we
listening.
We all love John.
Initially,
on the record.
okay, so the movie opens with Belfort. God, it's so hard to say.
Belfort,
It is so hard to
Belfort.
say. I'm like,
Yeah. You're
it's-
good. You're good.
blowing
so it's-
coke.
yeah. So he's at the height of his powers in the initial stages of the movie. Then it goes back, right?
He goes
Yeah,
back to his
um,
origin story.
Yes.
The best way to
He-
start a story is in the middle.
Right.
and
He's
then
like
go
a
back
he's like
to the
a
beginning.
so
Yes,
he's like a
that's exactly
middle
what
class. He's like a lower middle class guy. He's got a wife. We don't really get any
Teresa,
sort
she
of
cuts hair.
Yep.
we don't
That's
really
right.
get any sense of him being like a good or bad person at all. He's pretty neutral.
just
at the
a
beginning,
guy.
Well,
too.
he was.
I mean,
well,
he was
he,
a
like,
respectable person. Like he. It didn't really seem that he had strong morals per se.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he
that
at
wasn't
least he
obvious,
refused
yeah.
drugs when he was offered them. He didn't curse
drink on the job.
He didn't drink on the job. It seemed like he was at least faithful to his wife, right?
Yeah.
So it seemed like he lived at least like
I don't know.
productive
It
life.
seemed like he was more attracted to making something of himself than kind
Yeah,
of
he
these
was
products that
ambitious.
come with it. Yeah. It was more ambitious than living in kind of the fruits of
'cause he-
success and
He
excess.
talks about he loves it the second he gets in there. He loves that environment.
He gets hooked. He's like, I was hooked immediately when
Yeah.
he started hearing them say "fuck." I think that's he's like, oh man, this is the coolest thing ever.
It was also very apparent at the beginning he was very talented too at what he did.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yes.
He was a very very gifted speaker. Like he could basically like on cold calls, right? So like
Hitler.
basically his job.
Michael.
Whoa!
All right, Michael.
Hey, what? He knew how to rile
Anyways,
people
he,
up.
he was
yeah.
he was a good he was talented when it came to what was called like a cold call. So like he got hired at this brokerage where they would cold call people and attempt to sell them stocks in like the 80s. So they would say, hey, I got this hot new stock, I want you to buy 10,000
Whatever
units
amount
of
of
it,
shares,
right?
yeah.
So many shares, and then if they would get a commission based on the number of units they sold or
Yeah.
the amount of the volume of stock.
Yeah,
they sold.
because at this point in the movie, he kind of gets his first job into that. Enter his first boss.
McConaughey?
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
the character?
are we gonna go through the whole plot?
No, because I was just gonna lead this into the
I
other
think
thing.
this is kind of important to lead into like what,
Like
what
Mark
they do.
Lead this into how
Hannah.
the people who watch this movie are like, I'm these guys, but really
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
Mark
like,
Hannah. I
directly
think
talking-
his name was Mark Hannah, right?
not
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck you.
It's Mark Hamill.
you.
Anyway, him and Mark Hannah go out to
Mark
a
Hannah.
meal, and pretty much they lay out kind of how this whole thing works, how the entire thing is kind of just like, it's not real. It's not like,
The stock market.
it's a fugazi,
Yeah.
it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a...
Doesn't fucking exist.
Yes.
And so pretty much this is kind of the scene that I think is pretty kind of like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, how did people miss this? Because the same guys that are like, look at this Robin Hood graph are the ones that they're talking about how they're kind of just turning into schmucks. Because it's like you sell them a stock. The stock goes
Yeah.
up, and then they want to be like, all right, I got money. Let me get
pull
this
it out.
money. But you don't
Yeah.
let them do that. You get another idea,
You reinvest
another stock to reinvest, and then some. And they will.
And so this is the irony.
So they can shove it in their friend's face.
Yeah. So they just what they.
Well, it's like
they-
gambling.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to gambling.
put in money,
It's what
you
they
get a big
how they put
win.
it. Right.
Yeah.
You get a big win, so you put your money back into the machine. You spin it again.
But
You
the
get another big
important thing
win.
is not to let them take it out, because then it becomes
Then it becomes
real.
real.
Right.
Because they're getting rich on paper.
Right. Well, and the interesting thing is that like it does make that very clear that like there's no value added.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like how all the people that
It's
watch
fake.
this are like, this
Yeah.
is sick. Are the people? They're not brokers. They're day trading, which means they're
Yeah.
the ones buying this
So I was gonna say
stock
that's-
and feeding into the system that is like, hey,
right. That's the irony of those
The
people is
irony
that
giant.
they really don't understand that they're actually on the how should I say, the not receiving.
they're
end of
getting
that.
sold
They're- Yeah,
to.
they're the
getting sold to.
schmucks,
They're
you
not
know?
the
But
sellers.
not
Yeah.
necessarily anymore, right? Because Robinhood took away the brokers. It took away the middleman. That's what the purpose it serves, right? It allows people to basically directly buy stocks themselves.
that's
I don't, man.
interesting.
Back in the day,
Because
man, we never
by a lot
trusted
of-
robots
because
to
the
do shit.
brokers-
I still don't trust robots to do shit now. I tell you, man, they're gonna take over the fucking world.
Holy shit.
What, you think I'm gonna just go up and
no, like-
fuck a robot pussy one of these days?
Why are you talking about?
Sorry, Stonks Mike. It's Stonks Mike.
This is the real Michael.
No.
Take his glasses off now.
we need a visual thing, otherwise I'm not going to know who's who.
So yeah, thank you. Oh, now it's Michael.
oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael, I didn't realize you were here.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jarret,
Oh, hi, Michael.
I get your rent.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyways,
my landlord.
well, the thing is that with like Robinhood, when
Well, especially
so
the GME stock recently, I think is the the relevant thing where it's just like regular people kind of went against all of kind of the brokers and
sure, yeah, but like nowadays, if I want to buy stock on the market, I don't use a broker that's going to be calling me an actual person, right? That's going to say, hey, I want you to buy this stock, right?
you can look into
Everyone's
your own
looking
stock.
into it on the
I
internet
feel like
now.
today that'd be a pretty awkward interaction.
well,
for someone to
people
cold
still
call you.
do it though.
Yeah.
If you like go
It's a
in,
job.
Would you
still.
say as well as people in the 80s? I mean,
It's a different
I guess it depends
time.
on how gullible people are nowadays. But they always change their
Well,
narratives, too.
here's kind of the thing of how they got around people trying to look into it, and they actually say it in the movie is like, we're on this right now. This is a fresh thing. When you hear about it in the Wall Street Journal,
it's too late.
it'll already be too late. So you need to get on it right now.
Yeah.
Don't even look into it. Is kind of
It's
how it
very
is.
different because information flows very differently today than in the 80s. The internet wasn't a thing. You couldn't look up stocks.
That's
You
true.
saw it in the newspaper. You couldn't look up information. You couldn't even really background and check a company that well.
So here's the interesting thing. It's like you said, Robinhood, apps like that, they kind of put the power back in the
They put it in
individual's
the
hands.
people's hands.
So I think that's kind of why it lets you identify with these characters a little more, because you feel like you have the power to
You're thinking
accumulate all these things.
you're
You're
thinking
making
you're
the
gonna make
plays.
the
You're
money.
doing all this cool stuff, but
you're
That's-
taking the risks.
That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
also an ironic thing about people who take the movie a little too seriously. Is there, because it's based in the late 80s, early 90s, these people think, oh, that's exactly what it's like. They're going to get to it, and it's just going to be so modern and out of their league, essentially.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, and
It-
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
completely different game, probably, you know.
I just think that people always have like, I don't know, like especially younger audiences always have these like unrealistic expectations of life where they, I don't know, they what?
he's putting on the glasses
Oh,
again.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm just putting them on.
I thought I said something weird.
You did.
I don't know. Well, unrealistic expectations in life, right? Like, like you get younger audiences that they pull out parts of this movie. They're like, oh man, look at all the women that are around him. Look at all the money. Look at all the cars. Look at all the big houses. Because it opens like that.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
opens saying,
This
this
is
is who I
my-
am. I got this house. I got
This
this
girl,
car. I got this girl.
this money, these
this money.
drugs.
Even get him in a
Stuff-
moment
I made-
saying,
I
like,
made-
you know, this is
I
this
made
is heaven
$50
on
million
earth,
last
you know?
year, which really pissed me off because it was $2 million short of a
Yeah,
million a week.
yeah.
Yeah, and people hear that and they're like, $1 million a week. And
Yeah. Here, I want to bring it back to something you said earlier. You said if you watched this like earlier in your life, you probably would have taken it really
yeah, I would have
differently.
taken different stuff because, and that's what I think it's interesting is that
What would you
I
have
think
taken
that the-
from it? Do you think?
well, I would have taken positive aspect. I would have seen the movie in a more
You would have
positive
seen
light.
the pussy and been like,
That's-
fuck yeah.
I don't know about that, but
Stonks Mike.
that's what Mikey would have taken. Psycho Mike.
No, little
But,
Michael, like 14-year-old Michael, he would have been like, sin.
That's right.
You know?
Actually, Michael had his eyes closed for about 70% of the movie.
Actually, I didn't. Surprisingly, I normally with like explicit nudity stuff like that.
Yeah, it was quite explicit.
There's about 30 minutes.
But
of it in there.
but back
sorry,
to
he wants to get back to his
back to what they asked me is if I if I watched this, probably not even like a year ago, definitely like when I was like late high school for sure, I would have taken even more of a positive outlook on the movie. So I would have ignored the negatives and seen more of, wow, look at all that power, look at all that money. Oh man, it would be so funny to have to have so much money to smuggle it to Geneva, right? And Swiss bank, and you know, I would have taken, and so that's what. But now I kind of saw some more of the like, and I've seen this movie before. I actually saw like a lot of stuff and felt more emotional about about different scenes that I didn't notice before. And I think that just has to do with my outlook on life and who I am as a person now. Yeah. And so, like, that's why I think it's, like, kind of a neutral movie. And especially since it's kind of just through his eyes. It's just generally just what happened.
I like the parallel you drew between kind of the messaging of this movie and money itself.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, money's a very neutral thing, right? In the sense that you can do a lot of good with money if you're a good person, but you can do a lot of evil with money if you're an evil person.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, and money's just a currency to do things. That's all it is.
And I absolutely think it's similar to this, where you can draw the right messages out because they are there, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it also leaves a little wiggle room for you to definitely misinterpret it, because I don't think Scorsese was trying to say, look how cool this dude is.
Absolutely not.
There was no lesson in the entire movie.
Second.
Yeah, no, he doesn't learn anything.
What's interesting though,
he's the same asshole he was when he was an asshole.
Essentially, you know.
Well, he didn't learn his lesson because he had the chance to get out and sign with the SEC, and then just said, you know what, I'm not doing it.
I'm not fucking leaving.
No, right, exactly.
Well, because it was the lifestyle at that point.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is because we do get points in the movie. Not necessarily. Such a long movie. I forgot where halfway was.
It was 3 hours.
I don't even. It was
in a movie about excess. Scorsese really likes to drive home that point by making this movie 3 hours long.
It just hurt.
That was my biggest
It just
complaint.
hurt
It really
so
didn't need to
bad
be
when
that
we were
long.
like, all right, real quick break. Let's just pause this and get
2
back to
hours.
it. And we paused to it. It's like there's an hour.
Right.
An
So
hour more, yeah.
okay, so we get to a point where it starts to fall apart for him. Okay, but he still keeps doing this, and this is the interesting thing. Is like I mean, I don't know, for how I watched the movie, it was pretty stressful the whole time because I just, he's chasing really superficial things that I don't know, things that kind of are momentary, don't last a long time. Right. Why are people still attracted to that? Even the illegal.
Well, here's
It's
the
very
thing.
human nature type of thing. As
Here's kind of
It's
what I
very human
noticed
movie,
too.
yeah.
Is I think during that point you're supposed to say, like, when he's coming back, when he really should be leaving the company.
Yeah.
You're kind of supposed to see that as, oh, you
He's
idiot.
addicted.
Yeah. Almost like you're risking all of this for your pride.
and it's like, why?
But a lot of
It's
people
like-
see that as like, wow, this
Dude's ambitious.
yeah, he's ambitious. He's
not
noble.
taking
He's
no
not going to
for
go
an
down.
answer.
He's not going to like dip out of his company.
Yeah.
right.
I think as well with that, it's like I didn't even feel like this guy. I don't know. It was kind of just like more sad for him. Like, wow, this guy really just can't stop. Like it's like it's less of just like, oh, this guy is an idiot. It's
Well,
like I don't
no, I
even
know.
know. Yeah.
I guess that was poor wording. Also, you kind of get that when he's talking to his wife's aunt too, like when he kind of opens up to her.
Which time?
When they're
When
on
he
the
kissed
bench.
her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. When
Yeah.
he's,
And he tells her, like, I'm
Yeah,
a drug addict. He really,
Yeah. Or
he just can't stop.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
he's just kind of like, he just kind of straight up says
Well,
it. He's
kind
like,
of,
I'm a drug
and then
addict.
and then at the start, he's like, "This is the most powerful drug of all." It's a shot of cocaine, but he's doing it with the $100 bill. He's like, "Not this, money." So I think that
He was addicted to making money.
He's addicted to money. He's addicted to the drugs. I think he's addicted to kind of just the chaos of it all. Because that's when he first got hooked on, is when he went into that brokerage, and it just like erupts with just people on the phone, on the two phones.
Right.
No, he felt at home there
Yeah.
immediately.
It's a
I
good
think he's
point
also
because
addicted to
he
chaos.
had all the money in the world. That's his dad said that. You have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Just now preserve it. It wasn't about the money. It was about making the money.
Yeah.
It was about the process. I think that's why people get into it, is because they think that it's just classic dopamine, right? Like they think they're gonna get on this such a high, and they want to have an exciting life. They don't want to live a normal life, and they want to be talked about. And the Wolf of Wall Street, right? That sounds cool to people.
Absolutely.
Like that sounds like a cool title. It's actually like not. It wasn't intended to be a good title.
It was the title of that article that was a hit piece on him.
Yeah, it was a hit
about how
piece.
he manipulates people. And
Yeah.
What's funny is then right after that article came out, he had dozens of people lining up.
Yeah,
to
no
work at
such
his
thing as
firm.
bad publicity.
That's true.
exactly.
Yeah, and then
So
because of that, yeah, there were young men that aspired to be like him. I think I don't know. There's just something just about power with humans.
Oh yeah. Well, what's interesting is we keep saying human, but it's like honestly to get to where he was, he lost essentially all his humanity almost. I mean,
This
he just
is-
became a
yeah.
psycho. you
This
know?
is
it's
a movie
true.
with very little humanity in it.
Yeah,
Well, it's
I think
true.
one of the
it's superficial.
one of the brief moments Jared and I were kind of talking earlier too, that scene when he offers that girl 10 grand to shave her head
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that actually like profoundly bugged me.
Well, she did whoever that actress was. She did a good job of.
Yeah, you can see
seeing,
the
like, she
conflict
wanted
in her
to-
face.
Yeah, she wanted to.
She's
make
happy about the money,
she's being objectified.
Yeah.
First of all, and then she's just. It's like for what $10,000, so everyone else can just have a good time and make some stupid bet. It's
Yeah,
like,
you lose your
you know.
dignity. You put a price on your dignity.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
Kinda
hard.
sell your soul
And what was
as well.
crazy to me is like, it as soon they didn't even finish shaving her head until everyone lost focus on her
Yeah.
and just
No, they
went
did.
into something
That's
else.
what really frustrates. Like you can't even finish shaving her head, so
It was
decent,
that
like,
unimportant. Like to that it actually profoundly bugged me because and that was one thing I didn't even notice the first time I watched that movie, but I watched it again and I was like, that's one of the big key takeaways for me is that I don't know. Yeah, you're right. They just lost they lost value for humanity. They
Yeah.
forgot that people were people, not just dollar
especially,
bills.
especially women.
Exactly. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
Well, women were seen as items for sex, and men were seen as basically items for money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Yeah.
think a lot of it is too. He's kind of fresh when he gets in there, and the first thing he learns almost is when
Cocaine and hookers.
Mark stop. Mark
a
takes
fuck
him
the
up. Yeah,
clients.
fuck the clients. Who cares? You're making money.
It's
Yeah.
not about that.
Yeah,
You're putting food on the table.
I don't think
I
so.
mean,
Meat on the
it's-
table.
it's-
Yeah, it
it's-
was more than
I was
food.
It's
doing,
meat
I
on
was
the
doing it in
table.
the spirit. Meat on the table.
Yeah. Your job is to put
I mean,
meat on
you
the
know, if
table.
it's the right
And then
meat,
he's
it
like,
is
well, if you're
food.
putting
Is it meat on the table
Yes,
or
it
me
is.
on the table?
it's meat
Put
on the table.
mead on the table.
Mead, like the
The
medieval drink,
Yeah.
Delicious.
fermented honey.
Honey wine.
Delicious.
We need a mead sponsor.
I know a
Okay,
guy.
I'll-
I know a guy.
Yeah.
But
What,
I got the need.
Gillette
The
straight?
need for mead.
All
I
right.
was surprised. I was surprised by the lack of mead in this movie. With everything else, why was there
plenty
no
of
mead?
everything else except mead.
There was no
Anyways,
need for the mead.
But you're that's yeah, good point. Like I don't know. You were talking about how that's the first thing he learned. Where were you going with that? Or
I was going with
Oh, yeah.
fucking Martin Scorsese doesn't need mead.
okay, Michael, we're done with mead.
That
Or
bit,
moved on from mead.
Hey, okay. I'm taking my glasses off now.
okay.
Go ahead.
I think kind of where I was going with that is, no, oh my god.
Put the glasses back on.
I can see better.
All right. Here's the thing. I'm trying to remember where I was going with that because this is just nonsense crazy.
Sorry.
But we were talking about. I think it was immediately one of the first things in his head is
Immediately.
Michael. Oh my.
It was
God.
like his compass that he followed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's these people aren't people. They're numbers almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's they're payday. Yeah, I mean, because that was like like that whole motto they lived by, right? Like he immediately went into the penny stock area after he got laid
Yeah.
off because there was a crash in the
Yes.
market, and yeah, that's my Coke water. But
No.
he had no objections to using these penny stocks because he knew they were crappy companies, right?
They're
And
50% commission. So it's just
Yep.
like, I just need to
Give me-
sell as many of these as possible.
Yeah, and it was big fat commission on it, and all you had to do was convince some schmuck that he needs to put down 40 grand on this, and he'll pay off his mortgage. And he went into that penny stock, and he, that's the interesting thing. He's so talented. And it's really sad to me how talented this guy
Kind of
was,
squandered.
but he did nothing for humanity. There is no value
It was
that he
completely
added.
self-serving.
It's on top of that.
I think he
even if it's self-serving, right? Like who was I talking this
You're
about?
talking to me,
Like
where
about
it's like
like
if you-
rock stars, right?
Yeah.
You have a rock star. They have a similar lifestyle this guy lived. You could say he's kind of like a rock star, and he did drugs. We had tons of women. He
Yeah.
complete lived on the edge
crazy
of life,
parties,
right? Yeah, but at least rock stars at the end of the day produce music and they
Yeah.
leave a legacy
Some
behind.
art that leaves-
This guy
yeah.
produced nothing.
No.
He took people's money and there was no value added, and which is
Yeah, going back to what they were even
Crazy.
saying about the stocks, and the stocks are inherently kind of up in the air money
So
anyway.
that's-
And when you do illegal things with the stock market too, it's even more nothing.
Yeah.
But it's still when it. What am I trying to say?
Better
The
figure
market is nothing, but you're still taking real
Yeah,
funds
yeah.
from these real people. But to him, it's just
it out.
the numbers.
Here's the thing
going
I
up.
almost noticed too is early
You
on his
almost
wife's.
noticed.
No, well,
Sorry,
I
know
noticed
I'm just
it.
an asshole. Sorry.
Early on, his wife is saying,
Yeah.
don't. How
of these
can you
bad
sleep-
companies. Yeah.
Well, no, how can you sleep knowing like
His first wife.
Michael?
No, that's a good
That's
point.
It is.
It's
all
a
right,
fair
you
point.
got me
His
there.
first wife.
His first wife tells him, "How do you sleep at night knowing you're taking this from kind of like
Because
Because his
on a
second wife
pile
would
of
not say that
money.
at all.
yeah, no, but like shouldn't you be doing this to people who can afford it?"
He's
And
like,
he
yeah.
kind of takes that and he starts his own company
Strat
and he
no
starts kind of
He targets the
targeting these
rich,
bigger
But he
companies.
only targets the rich because they have more volume
Yeah,
to push.
and I think almost maybe he could have done something
Maybe.
better.
But then it's at the end of the day, it's still for him.
yeah, it
Well,
becomes a
no, in
self-serving.
his own mind, guys, in his own mind, he saw himself as the moral right because
Oh,
he was
absolutely.
taking money from, at the end, he was taking money from wealthy clients.
giving to himself.
And remember, there was the lady at the very end
Yeah,
who
no,
said,
that's true. He
I came
helps
to
all
you
of his employees.
and I asked you for a $5,000 advance, and he wrote her a check for $25,000. I bet you he thinks that he was in the moral right for that,
Yeah.
even though that $25,000 was coming from someone. He scammed that money out of someone. So
Here's-
it's kind it is like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Let,
Well,
us-
he-
let me cut. Let me cut.
I need first, Michael.
fight for it.
Go
Fight for
ahead,
it.
Go ahead. You want
Okay.
to fight stocks,
No,
Mike?
I-
Do you?
Oh,
Do you?
God.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. It's fine.
Well, I was gonna say here. I think it's kind of subtle too, and I think it shows it was self-serving in the end because even in the end, he will not go down for his employees. When he
Right.
gets arrested, he sells her.
He turned
out.
them all in.
You see the shot of her specifically getting arrested too.
Really?
No,
Yes.
that
Yes.
was- yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was going to mention was he actually brought them down
To save himself.
To
I
save
think
himself, essentially,
maybe he
yeah.
did that to kind of boost his own ego, make
He-
himself
Because he
feel
did
better.
make a spectacle out of it. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, what did I do for you? Tell
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
what
No,
I did
think
for
the
you.
reality
Right.
was it was all about him.
Yeah.
You get
true.
that from the
I
tone.
think
Because when it comes down to it, it's
narration.
him or my employees. He's going to choose
Yeah,
to save
every
himself.
time.
except for Jonah Hill's character.
But what I'm trying to get at
he's
is
a
that I
sweetheart.
think that in his mind, if it was written that way in the autobiography, he thinks that he was in the moral right,
Yeah, no one's the villain
which
in their
which
own
is
story.
yeah, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
odd? Which is yeah,
I don't-
but
yeah, I
I
don't
didn't
really-
realize that. That's
I
crazy.
really don't think he.
But he
was
did-
thinking
he-
a whole lot about moral.
And I think that's where a lot of the framing comes from too. Is it is very much through only his eyes.
Right. Right.
And I think that's why it's easy to relate to him.
Yes,
kind of.
and it's
because-
also because you see his whole story.
Yeah.
and you see him rise to success, which is I think a very appealing thing to humans.
If
I
you
don't
just
know
kind
why.
of started off as being this like big shot guy,
And I
you'd be
think-
much less likely to.
Yeah, you say,
relate
oh, he
to
had
him.
it coming.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think what was kind of interesting as well is like in his whole thing of like we never take no for an answer. Like I noticed that he never gave no as an answer ever. It's like, hey, scam these people. Okay, cheat on your wife. Sure. It's like there was
Right.
never a no, even when it was like
there was never control.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, to where it's like he thinks that him not taking no for an answer is him getting his way every time, but he's also like a slave to all this other stuff as well.
Right.
drugs, money, pussy.
Okay, yeah, we're all waiting for that.
It's a great contribution, Stonks Mike.
I know.
It's refocusing us, but yeah, the oh man, I was. Oh, but he did try to pass the note to his first business
Donnie.
partner, to Donnie.
That's what I was mentioning. Was he like?
Because that was his first. That was his first partner that he kind of met when he was still a bit more.
Because he introduced him
human, I
to
think.
crack, so he
Was the whole
felt he
thing
felt
he-
like he owed him a favor.
He just quit
Yeah.
his job for him.
Yeah, I
basically,
think
and had
kind of
to
throughout
build
that, like he kind of messes up a lot, but I think it's because he kind of has him as his almost last, like I don't know, like his last tie to him still
Best
being like
friend,
a
I
good
think.
guy.
Yeah.
I think he kind of keeps him on as well.
I think it's important that Donnie then stabs him in the back because he gives that note to the FBI.
yeah.
Oh no,
Did
that was
he?
super important because
Yeah.
the
Well,
reality
you
is
see
he was
him
also
take
just
it.
out for himself. But that's the thing. I feel like every single one of them would have done that to just
It's
Yeah,
true.
I know.
for
It's
themselves.
a cutthroat market.
I mean, it's the whole. I mean, the title.
Well, it was a Wolf's
Wolf of
Den.
Wall
Yeah.
Street. Yeah,
It was a
it's
Wolf's
insane.
Den.
And
That's
he
why
liked it
thought-
that
Yeah,
way.
he liked it
Yeah.
that way.
Yep. So
Just
yeah.
came back to bite him,
Yeah,
right?
Jonah Hill, a role that could have been played by Adam Sandler as well.
You're only saying that because of Uncut Gems.
Is it wrong?
I mean,
No, I don't think it's wrong.
You sounded so much like
you
Adam
also said
Sandler.
it could have done a good job. Jonah Hill did a great job. Though.
Oh yeah.
I like
well, I
it.
feel like the performances in this
Yeah, can
movie
we
in
can we
general
talk about
from
the
everyone.
performances and some like just stuff about the
I mean,
movie
everyone's
quality?
great. Everyone's
Yeah,
so
no,
good.
I'd say
There's not like a weak
No.
link
No,
in
I
that
think
entire cast.
I think for
yeah.
me that was probably the best part of the movie was just seeing those performances.
performances.
done.
I think the only casting mistake they made was Stonks Mike was not there.
Stonks
Yeah.
did not
Oh
play.
yes.
There was
Yeah,
no
did not
appearance
play
of
Jordan
Stonks
Oh
Belfort.
no, I turned it down.
Yeah, Scorsese came to you first.
Yeah.
When you were like,
They refused.
I said, Martin, that would be too Scorsese for me.
That was so stupid.
They refused to pay
Yeah, then
you
they
in
got in a fist
50
fight.
kilos of cocaine.
Yeah, I got in a
Pay
fist
you
fight
exclusively in
with Martin
cocaine.
Scorsese.
yeah, did you win?
You both got your licks in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we both shook
But anyway,
hands at the end.
what were we saying? The performances are
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
the performance
No,
is great.
It was
Yeah, I think who's your favorite performance in this?
Man, that's
And
really
why
have a favorite.
was
I-
it Matthew McConaughey?
yeah. I mean, yeah. In the short, he was in it for just a short
For the
bit, but
couple
he was really
minutes
good.
he was in it, yeah.
He
Very good.
stole the fucking show.
I
I
say
don't know, I think
Jonah
so.
Hill definitely stole the show for me. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was good. I don't know if I have a favorite. I think they all just contributed.
It's very much kind of an ensemble type of thing.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
no one gets a lot of screen time except for a couple characters.
Everyone has this
Uh,
gravity.
right.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the FBI agent.
I'd have to
who had
disagree
very
with
little
you all.
screen time.
For me, it was the one guy on the left when they were panning through all his
That's right.
The guy on the left.
The guy with just the
That was
dead face.
the
That was
stared into my
haunting.
soul.
Best-
In this 3-hour movie, we rewinded it just to see this guy again. It's like what is at the end when it's just like
It's showing a
it's a shot
flashback
of
of
all
him
his
walking through
employees.
and how they all
And
admire
everyone
him.
just
But
has,
there's
like,
just
a
one
smile
guy
on their
like,
it was a very endearing moment. Everyone was supposed to be smiling and appreciating who Jordan
he's done for
Belfort
them,
what
he's
he had
built.
done, right?
And there's this one fucking guy that's just looking like.
I thought it was after he's getting arrested. And
It
they're leading
is.
him
No,
through
it
the
But it
is.
was like
office.
a
It's
flashback to
towards
when
everyone's
things were
looking
good.
at him
Okay,
all,
yeah.
I think it was as he was walking through saying, "I'm not going to leave you" or something, or
But,
I
like,
don't know.
The point is, there's this one guy that just stares into your
You're right.
soul.
I agree with Jarret. That was the standout.
Yeah,
for
like
me.
I was looking at the right side, so I didn't see him initially. That's why they rewound it, and they were like, "Oh, you'll know," and I was like, "Come on!" I hate when people say that. I'm not gonna know who this guy is. I knew immediately when he came on the screen. He was horrible. So I don't know who this guy was. I want to find him. We need to do
Guy's
research
just
on
out
that.
there. Yeah, we need to
We'll
pull
look
up
at
the
the cast.
IMDb.
We'll look at the cast.
Yeah, no,
The good thing is he has a
Frowning
very
man.
recognizable face.
Yes.
I
Oh,
understand.
it's been burned into my
Yeah,
eyes.
it's like it's.
I haven't
yeah.
slept.
Like, no offense to the guy, but he's pretty frightening. Anyway,
That's come from Stonks
so yeah,
Mike.
Anyway,
You've seen it all.
yes, no, everything about the movie, I feel like quality, except for it was a little too long. It was too long. There was.
That's
you know,
Scorsese
it-
does
it-
that.
It was, I mean, there were also like 30 minutes of sex scenes that didn't really need to necessarily be in there. I
It
don't-
shows the excess.
Well,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
there is somewhere like
don't
it's
know.
just raw.
I
like,
think
wow.
3 hours
'Cause
was
it
good for this movie.
It's about excess.
It's
Again, I've
excess,
said it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It-
And it's
like if you were
also
to
based on
cut
also.
corners on anything, it would lose its or not its message, but it would lose the impact rather. I think that they were going for.
If you see him have sex with a prostitute once, it's like, okay, this
Yeah,
is
oh,
he
yeah,
is
so-
someone-
but-
he
but
did
if
it
you
like-
had
it was
to-
like all the
this is what
time.
he's doing.
This
is
is
a
a life.
problem.
That's-
This is
yeah.
everyday
That's why I
life.
say it was kind of blended in with other things as well. It wasn't just like a sex scene. I guess it was it was just kind of going on all the time. You know.
The other thing too is that like, I don't think there was a single event that didn't need to be in there because, like, it was a pretty domino effect for me. Like, you know, cheated on his wife, and then he, it showed like, and then he had a drug, and then he just got out of control with drugs. Like, it just escalated rather. It like snowballed. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it was so long to show that like, you know, it really got to the point where, you know, his life was out of control, and ultimately, they would not have been caught. Even though he didn't sign the SCEC thing, they probably would not have been caught if they had control over their lives. They were so out of control, they brought attention to themselves. Remember, they caught the one guy who was trying to smuggle money for him just because they got in a fight.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thing. I just wanted to bring up was you kind of like this is the business world, right? You expect
This is the business.
Okay, yes, I know it's a business.
This is the
What I'm
world of
saying-
business. The world of stocks. The
All
world
right.
of trades. Money.
And anyways, so
Yeah.
it's just interesting because you would expect this atmosphere to be highly professional. But these people are
Animals?
I think it shows how much they get off scot-free. That for them to get caught, they're so sloppy before they ever get
They
caught,
really
and even
are,
when they
yeah.
do, they kind of
Literally, Belfort tries to bribe an FBI agent.
That was
Yeah.
a great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene. Yeah, no, he can just basically, again, with all that money, he was able to do whatever he wanted.
I was going to say, here's the reason I don't think, to bring it back to the messaging and kind of how people interpret it, I don't think it's irresponsible for a couple of reasons. One, it's accurate to how Jordan Belfort views his life. He's truly unrepentant all the way till the end and all the way probably after.
Probably still is.
He's proud of it. He wrote the memoir, I'm sure. Yeah. And also, it's kind of just, you take a step back and you can view his life in context. And I think it's about a lot of how money can save you from a lot of stuff that ordinary people can't get away with, too. Like, he goes to prison, he gets off with way less time than he should. He goes to a really nice estate.
Where he's playing tennis.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
It's like, what the hell? No, it's interesting because, you know, we talked about how, I mean, so the whole movie is through his eyes. You know, he's
I would say he is the sole perspective of this movie.
But it's interesting because the whole thing is, it's, you know, he's so inward looking and he's so self-serving. I love where you see kind of his perspective of how things are going, but then you see actually
exactly
what
the
reality is.
It takes a step back for a second.
But he just doesn't learn, like with
Like
the whole
the
car scene, where it was that, and it was, I mean, he's just constantly trampling over his first wife. You know, she was like, you know, do you love me? He just doesn't even. It's like he doesn't even care at that point.
Yeah, you
But
know, he divorced her and had a
you
new
get
girl moved in.
So if you're paying attention
within like 3 days.
if you're paying attention to the right things in the movie, you kind of see what is actually there. Well, honestly, you just it's for me, it was just really absurd and crazy from the get-go. But yeah, no, it was just interesting. I thought you got to see some glimpses of how things actually were. But you know what they say.
What book is
The
this?
book's The Secrets of Money. It says money is the secret to everything. That's it.
That's the book.
That's the whole book?
Yeah. Braun Minker. It's Braun. What?
I don't know. Use a different book.
Literally, we got this book. Let me just say this real quick. Literally, we got this
Where's
book
Unlimited
for
Power?
free
I gave that to
of
you.
how to make money in stocks from the
somewhere.
1990s.
Oh my gosh.
Unlimited Power.
Yeah,
It
give us a
says
quote from Unlimited Power.
Yeah,
It
give us a
says
quote here.
all money is power,
It says the same thing.
and power is money.
What else does it say?
It says, however, mismatches are X the survey is extremely valuable because they.
Are you just reading the book? Oh my gosh.
Okay. However, we got this book for free about how to make money in stocks for the 1990s and beyond.
Really?
This was free.
Very relevant.
Yes. So if you want to
Does it talk
take
about
a page from
.com
that.
stocks?
Yeah, about the
Yeah,
.com bubble.
2010.
Invest in the .com.
Do we have any
Yes.
other thoughts?
I thought I've said all I want to say. You know, I don't know about. I can't say for stonks, Mike though.
Yeah. Does he have anything else to say?
He's been pretty quiet so far.
Does he want any more smelling salts?
No.
You know
No.
what? I think
that how we
after
close the
that
show?
one went so far.
Oh,
off
that
my
yeah, for
brain.
me too. I thought I was gonna do it at the intro and the outro.
Between that, like my face felt like it was gonna pop off. And between all the flour, I have like hush puppies at the back of my nose at this point now. It's like, I honestly might wake up and not be able to smell anything.
I might just
'Cause
not
there
wake
today,
I'm
what, you got
just not
COVID? No, I was just doing some fucking flour last night.
Just huffing the flour, baby.
Yeah.
flour
Anyways, no,
baby.
I thought I had everything that I wanted to say.
Anyone else?
I think we're all good.
It has been a pleasure, people, and remember.
Hold on. We just want to thank Jarret Flack for being our first guest.
And my landlord.
Yeah, that's true too, I guess.
Very welcome for that, Michael.
Right, now go into what you're going to do.
I forgot.
All right, Christian.
What?
Sign us out.
Sign us out.
Sign us out. We're on Spotify now. I forgot to mention
Oh
that again.
jeez, yeah, we didn't plug anything in the beginning.
Oops.
Except for smelling
Oh,
salts.
you're doing this again.
Yeah, I'm closing this up.
Okay, well, check us out on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. It's all under Theme and Variation Podcast. Spotify one is just Theme and Variation.
I want that pussy.
Share
I want that money.
this podcast.
I want to live like
all
Jordan the
things.
man. I want.
And we're done.
All right. See
Good
you next
night.
week.
All right, bye.